Welcome back to the Movie Draft House. I'm your host, Mark, joined by co-host Jeff.
What up, Mark? How we doing? Happy New Year again.
We're going to say that for the entire year. Happy New Year to you as well. Jeff, let's run it down because you're still into the new thing. So, how are we doing these episodes this year?
Yeah, so we're taking a quick break. By quick, I mean a year-long break from doing themes, because we feel or at least I feel anyway, our theme picking has been waning, and wanted to try something a little different. So we're doing what I call the 1 degree of separation. So each movie we watch, we will take turns drafting, and we will need to pick a film within 1 degree of separation of the film we just watched. So, for example, at the end of the year, we watched A Simple Favor starring Anna Kendrick, who also happened to star in a film called Life After Beth. In that film was Paul Reiser, who starred in this week's film, Whiplash.
He plays dads in both of the films.
Yes. He's
Paul Reiser
essentially
does.
the same character. Did you say R.I.P.? Is Paul Reiser dead?
No. I said he plays both. He plays dads in both of the films.
Oh, I thought you said R.I.P.
No, R.I.P. Jeff Baena, who directed Life After Beth, who we learned died suddenly. Who I didn't know he's married or was married to Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
So I didn't know that. But it makes sense because she's in a lot of his movies. Anyways, it was kind of jarring to read that. So R.I.P. Jeff Baena. Hopefully it was just health related and he didn't overdose on some shit.
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Hollywood's a crazy place.
There's a lot of drugs, but I don't know. I'm speculating. It might have been. I had a heart attack at 42, so
I think he was 47.
43. I had a heart attack at 43.
Oh, 43. So no, Jeff Baena
was 47.
Yes.
Anyway, so you picked Whiplash from 2014. It runs for an hour 46. Stars Miles Teller and J.K. Simmons, and is directed by and written by Damien Chazelle. Why did you pick this?
Well, I'd always heard, so I'd never seen it.
Okay, so you had not seen it. I thought maybe you had.
No, for a minute I thought I had, but once 20 minutes into the movie, I'm like, none of this is familiar to me. And so I like Damien Chazelle. He did La La Land.
Yes.
Who and watching this, you can really feel and see and his love for jazz music is really on display. And if you've seen La La Land, then you kind of already know that. But this kind of just reaffirms his love for music. But no, J.K. Simmons, I think he won. I don't know if he won or he was nominated for Best Supporting Actor.
The film won 3 Oscars. Let me see here. He won Best Supporting Actor.
Yeah.
And then Best Writing. Oh, no, it did not win that. Best Achievement in Sound Mixing and Best Achievement in Film Editing.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons did win an Oscar.
And so, knowing that when a film wins Best Editing, if you are in the Oscar circles, the Academy Awards circles, social media, whatever, usually that's a precursor to being in contention for Best Picture of the Year, and so. Knowing that, I'm surprised. Maybe not surprised that this didn't win, and because it was nominated for Best Picture, but it just had a lot of buzz. I thought I maybe had seen it, and when I got 20 minutes in, and I'm like, nope, this is not familiar to me. I was very very engrossed. I like Miles Teller as an actor. I very much like J.K. Simmons as an actor, and so and I heard that Simmons' character is one of the I don't want to, it's not hyperbole, but worst characters of all time.
Yeah.
on
He's
screen.
a terrible person.
So I was interested to kind of talk this out with you.
Yeah. I also had not seen it. It's been on my list to watch because I do like J.K. Simmons. I do like Miles Teller. And I just never got around to it, mostly because I guess I didn't want to see someone abused for an hour and a half.
Yeah. I mean,
that's
yes.
kind of what happens.
I mean, it's, verbal abuse, but...
No, he gets slapped around.
Yeah, that's right. That's true.
And then he makes him drum until his hands bleed.
So so the premise behind this movie is Miles Teller plays kind of this protege. He is a really good drummer, percussionist, and
I love to hear percussion.
And he goes to this really great music college. I think it's in New York, but
his parents are bad. Like, he's spending all this money to go to this top tier school, and you're gonna play jazz? Like, I got nothing against jazz, but you're not gonna make money playing jazz.
Well, I mean, I feel all right. So, and this is a peek behind the curtain into Mark's upbringing. I went to a pretty prolific performing arts high school, and I played an instrument, and you had to audition to get into the school and all this blah blah blah. If you've ever seen the TV show Glee, it wasn't quite to that, but like there's a lot of parallels. But like a lot of the people that I went to high school with, finished high school and were set up to go to Juilliard. Like I think I have five people from my high school class that ended up at Juilliard, and one of them is performing on Broadway right now, and so I fully understand why somebody would want to take their performing art, whether it be acting or music or dance, whatever it is, and decide that they want to go do that as a career. It's because you can make money as
you can make money as a drummer going, doing gigs and playing for bands, and like it can happen. And usually the classically trained drummers are the ones that would probably get it because they can play anything. I'm just being short-sighted, I guess, but there's the scene where they're sitting around the dinner table and everybody's really proud of the football that's in Division 3A or whatever, the football player. Yeah. And Miles Teller is getting ignored for his dreams and what he's shooting for. And then he just kind of shits all over them. It's like, it's Division 3. Who gives a shit?
Right.
I like that dinner table scene, but
well, it's so
you're not gonna. You got to be pretty damn good, and I guess by the end of the movie we find out that Miles Teller is pretty damn good.
Well, I think throughout the film, we know, and because Miles Teller, I mean, he in the first scene of the movie, he's in the practice room or the band room, whatever it is, and J.K. Simmons walks in and sees him playing and kind of gives him the time of day, but then doesn't.
Walks
but
out
then
mid,
but then selects him to join his studio band, and so that's our first introduction to Miles Teller, the drummer, and seeing and knowing that he's pretty good, and then throughout the rest of the movie, we see that he does have what it takes, I guess, to be great. And what I really love about Miles Teller's performance is that it's very committed. And I think I read somewhere along the line that Miles Teller is an actual drummer. He has played drums before. And you can see that. I mean, I've never played drums, but I know they're not easy.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, and he's certainly on film playing. Like, they don't do the thing where,
right.
You ever watch a movie where someone's playing piano and they're behind the piano and they're moving along, and then they hard cut to the hands?
Yep.
And then they cut back to the person, and you can tell they're not actually playing.
Correct.
That's not happening here.
No. So I feel like Miles Teller's performance is very committed, and how Damien Chazelle shoots and wrote his part was that Miles Teller had to, I mean, just really pour himself into the role to make us believe that he is a great player. And I really got that. I felt like watching that, I thought that this character, Miles Teller's character, does have what it takes and is on the verge of being a great player. And so I really loved his performance. But this whole movie is about J.K. Simmons, right? And it's just jarring how mean and cold he is. And it's just like, it's why it is like, to me, like, I was watching with my wife and she's like, why is he so fucking mean? And I was like, I don't know, but like, it's pretty cool to watch. But
I can tell you why, because he's a prick.
And that's the
no
thing.
matter what his excuse is, I'm trying to, turn coal into diamonds. No, you just like being an asshole. And this is your default setting.
And we never. And what I love about the movie is that the movie never tells us why he's so fucking mean.
He does it because
he has a conversation with Miles Teller after the fact. But like, then do we really? Is that real? Because he was setting up Miles Teller, towards the end of the film,
right?
So was he actually
like? That's kind of interesting because you don't know even if the setup is part of the plan, right?
Right.
I feel like the setup, almost like he set himself up to win, like J.K. Simmons does, because he's like, either I ruin your career and get revenge on you for getting me fired, or you become this drummer that I see possibly becoming.
Right. And he becomes the protege, and then J.K. Simmons gets this acclaim because he found this kid and all this other stuff. But like, the film never goes into detail why, like, his backstory. We don't really learn anything about his backstory other than he's been doing this for a while. Abusive behavior towards the students at the school. But we never, the film doesn't want us to know. The film relies on Simmons' performance to carry the film through. Like, we're so caught up in like J.K. Simmons' performance, I never once wondered, why is he like this? It wasn't until after the movie I'm like, I don't know why he's like that. But
because he's an asshole.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes
he's
that's
an
enough.
Insecure little bitch. That's why. And he should have been told as much. It doesn't matter how talented you are. Like, it doesn't give you the right to be a prick. And so I'm watching this, and it really reminds me of early Gordon Ramsay TV shows.
Okay.
Although this guy's more sadistic than Gordon Ramsay is even in those.
Right.
But like the early Gordon Ramsay is like so vicious and brutal, like throwing food on people. And he's doing it just for entertainment. But he's still being a prick, and a part of him, I guess, likes it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I also I heard or saw an interview with Gordon Ramsay, and a lot of that's for TV.
Yes, it definitely is.
He's not that type of person, like, off camera. And with like J.K. Simmons' character, I don't know.
Well, they show him with like that family.
Yeah, correct.
And he's, oh, hey, how are you? And he's talking to a little girl, and he's, oh, do you play an instrument? You come play for me. But then you're, as the viewer, like, don't do it. Don't go play for him. He will crush your spirit.
Yeah, the we talk about nuances of performance and how the film's written. Like, J.K. Simmons is on camera a ton in this film. And like when he's on camera, I want more of his character because he's so sadistic and so mean, but he's so engaged. Like J.K. Simmons, the actor, is so engaging. And just the insults that he like, and I'm watching, I'm like, God, I'm not rooting for this guy, but I want to see more of him.
You kind of do at the end. It's weird. That's where this movie put me in a weird place in the finale, because when they start having that mutual respect there at the very end of the film, you sort of like you sort of see this coolness, this element that is so attractive of wanting to please this guy who can't be pleased. That you kind of root a little bit.
Well, I think, the ending of the film is the mutual admiration between, because like the entire like sequence at the end of the film, Miles Teller, I mean, he even mouths to J.K. Simmons, "Fuck you," while he's playing, and he's just, I mean, he's putting on a great performance, and J.K. Simmons just has to go with it. And that really makes J.K. Simmons angry. Like he's like something like, "I'll rip your face off," or whatever he says.
Shit down your mouth and eat your testicles. Yeah, something like that.
But then like he sees the performance, and then he's like, "Man, this is a great performance." He goes, "I gotta go with it." And the mutual admiration. And I saw a TikTok. It's weird how your phones listen to you sometimes, but
they sure do.
The TikTok algorithms showed me best endings of films of all time. It was some movie reviewer on TikTok, and he put like together a top 10, and Whiplash was like number 8 or number 7, number 8 on his list with the way the film ended. And my wife, and I think that's how the algorithms got me, is that my wife, after the movie, we were talking about it, and she's like, "Man, I just wanted 5 more minutes of that movie." Yeah. And I was like, "Why?" And she's like, I didn't like how it ended." And I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, why did he smile at him?" And I was like, that's it. That's the thing. That's why this movie, in my opinion, is a great film. Is because this entire film, up until that moment, wants you to hate J.K. Simmons. It wants you to hate him, and you do. You end up hating. You're like, "Man, I really hate you. You should.
But
you
then
should
you
be the
also
one
start
getting."
to hate Miles Teller because he starts to turn into him. It
well, right, and
reminds
he treats
me of the movie Apt Pupil, where he kind of becomes this evil person. He kind of takes on those traits, and that's what you see at that dinner table scene.
Well, and Miles Teller goes to J.K. Simmons' performance at the jazz club or whatever, and he sees him playing the piano. And I think in that moment, because we had never seen J.K. Simmons do anything musically other than direct this band, we see that, hey, he can play. He does have talent. And I think Miles Teller realizes, oh, hey, maybe he does know what he's talking about, maybe. And so, like, this, I mean, the film, and it's not a long film. That's the other thing, is that this film pretty much, I mean, it's an hour 46. And so I almost say it was too short. I really could have done, I could have gone 2 hours with this film and seen more, more Miles Teller and more J.K. Simmons, going battle mano a mano with this. I don't know, man. The film, I wasn't prepared for how good the film is. I guess that.
Yeah, I was, when it ended, I thought the ending was good and proper. It did leave me wanting a little bit more. I wanted to know what happens next.
Right.
But I think what happens next is they still hate each other. After Miles Teller kind of realizes his full potential, is he going to still hang around with this guy that you still can't read? You still can't trust, right? Even if you have mutual respect, and he only respects him because he is this great musician.
Yeah.
J.K. Simmons respects Miles Teller when he sees that he's this great musician, you still can't trust him. And at some point, I'd still be like, this guy's going to get me.
Well, right. You're always wondering what are the motives here?
Yeah.
And I think that's another great thing about the film is that, like, all throughout the film, you're wondering what are the motives by J.K. Simmons. He invites Teller's character to the studio band, and he's like third chair or whatever. And then he's like, okay, let's give Fresh Meat the chance, and he plays, and then the next day Simmons tells Teller, okay, hey, you're going to be first chair, and you kind of see the disgust on the other drummer, and just like the motives behind everything that Simmons does, and then he brings in the redheaded kid as more like a thing just to piss off Miles.
Yeah, that's
Miles Teller's character, and like it's just he's a detestable character, but you're also like, well, wait a minute, he's getting Miles Teller's best because of all this.
Well, I also think there's probably a better way to do it.
Sure,
as opposed to drive someone insane. But I also think he likes doing it. So like this excuse, I don't really. I'm making you the best you can be. No, you just like being a prick, and that's hard for me to get past. But
yeah,
I know I'm making it sound like I didn't like this, but I thought this movie's amazing. I really loved the ending. I agree with the guy who was like, "Oh, the best ending." I think the ending smashed it. Just like when Miles Teller goes and hugs his dad at near the end, and you think, okay, he's gonna go home. He's gonna realize there's this weird like message in this movie. Like I don't know what the message is, because his dad loves him unconditionally. And his dad is there when things break down. His dad is there whether he's a great drummer or he's not. And to me, the good lesson is don't turn your back on your family, which, I don't know that he does. But then he goes on stage and becomes this great drummer. And so is the message, if this guy's treating like shit, you just go with it? I mean, like, what's the message?
Well,
I don't know. But
I think some of that message.
That's why I didn't know. I didn't know how to feel, and I say that in a good way. Like, there's something different between, like, the movie feeling like it doesn't know what its message is, and this movie which feels like its message is nuanced and we don't really know, and that's like on purpose, maybe.
Yeah.
And I get behind it a little more because it is done so artistically well.
Well, I think some of that is, it's hard. I mean, I'm not great at any one thing, right? But
I don't know.
Podcasting is my thing. But I can imagine that if you're like, I guess sports is probably the best analogy, is that if you're this great basketball player, and you've got the ability to go play in the NBA, right?
That I did.
And you've got this parental figure. I mean, man, Paul Reiser's so good at being a good dad, right?
He is a good
film.
dad, right? Go to the theater with your dad. I'd love to go to the theater with my dad.
Right.
I just fond memories of going to see the Chris Pine Star Trek movie in the theater with my pops.
Did you really?
Yeah. It was a good day. My dad was a huge Star Trek fan, so when they, made a new Star Trek movie, I'm like, we're going.
Well, and I wonder if that's something. Is because that was a very, like, we didn't need to see that, right? Is because the film in this movie doesn't have anything to do with the film. Like them going to the movie theater. I mean, that's where he meets Melissa Benoist's character, but who she's Supergirl, by the way. But like it really doesn't have anything to do with the film other than to show that, hey, Paul Reiser and him and Miles Teller's character as an adult person still go and watch movies together.
Well,
that
and
is
they
their
have
bonding.
a good relationship.
Right.
It's
And
not-
so
Yeah.
I wonder if Damien Chazelle, if that was something that maybe him and his dad did. Because you show them like they pour like Miles Teller pours the candy into the popcorn, and I don't know how many people do that, but I do that with
I recommend it. Like some
Yeah.
M&Ms in the popcorn.
hell yeah,
Fuck out of here. Delicious.
but like it's something wholesome, and I think it's something that people relate to, is watching a movie with your mom, with your dad, as a kid, and like I take my kids, and I have one adult kid, but I take my younger daughter to the movies all the time, and we get popcorn, and so like those memories. So I can imagine if she watched this film, she'd be like, "Oh, I do that with my dad," and so I just think like the little pieces of this film like that go a long way into allowing you to trust characters. Like Paul Reiser has his son's best interest at heart throughout the film. Like when he takes his kid to meet with the attorney, he's like, hey, we can't let him get away with this again. And you can see that he's got his son's best interest in mind because he recognizes his son is damaged.
Yeah.
And it's like characters like that, and it takes a certain type of actor, I guess, to play that type of character. It's because Paul Reiser, like I remember watching him on the TV show Mad About You, with Helen Hunt, and he played this kind of wholesome husband. He wasn't a father in that. Well, maybe later on, maybe they did have a kid. But like he played this wholesome guy in this sitcom, and that's what I remember. And I go back, and then like all the other Paul Reiser films that I've seen, he's always kind of played this character. And so I think it was A+ casting by Chazelle here to get him to play this role.
Yeah. I guess I don't really have much else. I mean, J.K. Simmons deserves the Oscar he won. It'd be one where I'd agree.
Oh yeah.
He
yeah.
kind of looks like a buff Jeff Bezos, which I know Jeff Bezos is buff, but much better actor than Jeff Bezos, possibly better person.
I don't know. Have you ever seen Jeff Bezos act?
Nah, I've seen him do an interview, and it's fucking awful. If you're like, he did an interview with Charlie Rose when like the third generation of Kindle came out, and every time he'd say something, he'd laugh at his own joke, but they weren't really jokes. He'd be like, books are printed on dead trees. I don't like that man. Anyway, I think like the music, one of the things they did win the Oscar for, I think, was sound editing. And I did watch this movie with headphones on, and the music is so good and clean. And, I get why they won that Oscar, because its sound is noticeably engaging, and it should be for a movie that's about music.
Right. I think we should get around to Babylon.
I don't want to watch it. It's like 3 billion hours long. Who was in that?
Margot Robbie. There's a ton. Brad Pitt. I haven't seen it.
I'm just asking because I need to avoid allowing you to pick it.
But Chazelle directs that, and it's about the 1920s, 30s, whatever, and jazz. And
I
don't know,
like it, but it's like 6.5 hours long.
It's not. It's like 3.
Yeah.
It's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
But I don't know. He also did, which is weird, First Man with what's his face, Ryan Gosling. Anyways,
I don't know what that is.
I'm very much interested in watching anything Damien Chazelle does.
Yeah, Well, don't
And
die, buddy. I mean, because us watching your movie,
I don't know. Yeah, we don't have a good track record in 2025.
Well, it's just one, but I mean,
what if our podcast is the reason that Jeff Payne died?
we'd have to quit. It'd be too dangerous at that point.
What if the power we wield is that?
If someone, I don't want to say someone in this film, but if this director or J.K. Simmons or Miles Teller dies in the next week, that would be a heck of a coincidence. So I think we maybe have to give it a third shot. But if it's 3 weeks in a row, I think we got to call it quits. I think we're cursed at that point.
What if we wield the all-time, the most powerful tool known to man?
Yeah.
And it's the movie Draft House.
Let's do a podcast about Trump and only Trump. Is that going to get me in trouble to say?
I don't think so. Anyway, Jeff, do you recommend Whiplash?
Yeah, absolutely. This movie is actually severely great, really excellent, and it's early to say, but it will probably be on my top 5 come to the end of the year because it blew me away. Really, really good.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I wasn't prepared for how good this movie was.
I didn't want to watch it, to be honest, because I just didn't, he's going to get abused the whole movie, and yet I was captivated throughout.
Yeah. Man, and I just really, it kind of reaffirmed my love for J.K. Simmons, the actor.
Yeah.
And just
not many
knowing
people dislike him. He's awesome.
No, right. And he plays the asshole type characters really well. And I don't know, just this whole film, like you said, from the music to the sound to the acting to the writing, just everything is fantastic here. And much like you, I can't see anything I can't see this being bumped out of my top 5.
Yeah. We'd have to.
It's more like hey, it's a top. What else is in our top 4?
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So Jeff,
my turn to pick.
Yeah. What are we gonna watch?
1 degree of
next
separation,
week?
baby. Here we go. So I'm gonna run it down. We had Anna.
I mean, you have the ability to pick Babylon. You have the ability to pick Babylon.
Yeah, I do, don't I? Well, let's see if that happens. You want to put some money on it?
I don't.
I'll seal it in an envelope and. I
hope it's a J.K. Simmons movie.
You hope?
I hope.
Well, I thought about it because I really only have 2 choices. It's either going to be a Miles Teller film or a J.K. Simmons film. So, Anna Kendrick was in. What the hell? This sucks.
A Simple Favor.
A Simple Favor, and she then starred in fucking
Life After Beth,
which starred Paul Reiser, who starred in this film, which stars Miles Teller, who starred in Top Gun Maverick.
We're watching Top Gun Maverick?
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, man.
It's awesome.
It's been a while.
J.K. Simmons, but I've seen that too many times. So.
Yeah. It's been a while since we've had purely a popcorn flick.
This is a badass popcorn flick.
No, for sure. But I mean, it's just been a while. I don't remember the last time we had just a movie that was just fun and we've both seen it before and we know it's really great and
yeah.
I don't. I have to go back.
Listen to how you set me up where I had 2 actors to pick from. And now look at this: Tom Cruise, Jennifer Connelly, Val Kilmer, and John Hamm. You have a lot of options. Hopefully, none of them are Babylon. John Hamm's not in Babylon, is he?
He might be. I don't know. Joseph Kosinski is the director here, and he's also pretty. Oh wait, maybe no. Oh,
no, he did Oblivion, Tron Legacy.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to do because I text you off pod and said that I really have I have a movie that I really want us to watch. But I gotta like be strategic in how I get us there.
Yeah. Well, if it's a modern movie, because I'm sitting here thinking, how am I going to get us to watch some old ass shit? And I don't know how. Like,
Well, you got to play chess. You got to think.
well, so
like,
here I've got it
three
set
steps
up where
ahead.
you could pick a Tom Cruise film or a Val Kilmer
Right.
film, and those go
Right.
way back, right? If I got to choose a Val Kilmer film, I'd be in hog heaven because there are two people I had a crush on as a kid, and that was
Val Kilmer?
Christina Ricci and Val Kilmer. So I would pick a Val Kilmer one in a heartbeat. I love his movies, but
No, there's
know.
I gotta.
and just to reiterate, we can't go down the same 1 degree.
Right.
So Anna
Correct.
Kendrick, Paul Reiser, which I don't see that being a problem. When are we going to run across Paul Reiser again? And then now Miles Teller are retired. They're off the board. So he has to find a movie related from, again, fucking Tom Cruise, Jennifer Connelly, Val Kilmer, John Hamm.
Ooh, Glenn Powell. Let's go. Glenn Powell's in.
Yes, he's great in this too.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna get us there. I'm excited. Where is this? Where is this streaming? Paramount.
Yes, Paramount Plus.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited. It's a crowd pleaser for sure. My daughter really loves Miles Teller, so
Yeah, I do too. Like I think this movie really helped, but I think I was he had like resting douche face to me. And then I watched his SNL appearance. I'm like, oh, I love this guy. He's great.
yeah.
He does a Peyton Manning impression on SNL. That's excellent.
Well, he kind of
really
looks.
good.
He kind of has like Peyton Manning face too.
He has a Manning face. So if you get a chance to watch his Peyton Manning shtick on SNL, is really good.
Okay, cool. Well, you know what else you can do is you can hit the subscribe button when it pops up so you miss any future content if you're watching here on YouTube. If you want to follow the podcast on all your favorite social media platforms, we're at Movie Draft House. You give us a like, follow, and subscribe. We're on all the things, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, right here on YouTube. Jeff, you want to tell them where they can find your other things?
Yeah, if you want to, you could go check out my other podcast called Chronologically, where we go through full filmographies of, cinema's greatest creators, as well as my newest podcast called All Things Being Sequel just started. We're going through a long-running film series. Right now we're looking at the Leprechaun films. And guess what, Mark? I've returned to social media.
Have you?
I'm on an app called Blue Sky, which is essentially Twitter, but demusked.
I also have a Blue Sky account.
I am at Jay Queasy on Blue Sky if you care.
Jay Queasy. Yeah, cool. Well, Jeff, any last words?
Nope. Go watch Whiplash.